The drain gurgled, an unsettling, throaty sound, a lonely sound, echoing in the stillness of the night.
Just your imagination.
Sarah found herself drawn to it, her bare feet padding silently across the cold bathroom tiles. She knelt, peering into the abyss. The metallic scent of stagnant water wafted up, making her wrinkle her nose. A shiver ran down her spine, a prickle of unease.
Just your imagination.
She murmured to herself, her voice barely a whisper in the quiet apartment. But her words lacked conviction. Her reflection in the chrome tap looking back at her with wide, frightened eyes. As she turned away, the drain gurgled again. This time, it seemed to whisper her name. Old Mrs. Henderson from downstairs swore it was the pipes.
Just old building noises, dear,
She'd say, her voice a dry rasp. But Sarah wasn't convinced. The noises had started subtly. A creaking here, a groan there. Now, they were bolder, more insistent. Whispers slithered through the walls at night. Shadows danced at the edge of her vision.
Don't be silly.
She muttered, pulling her threadbare sweater tighter around her. Yet, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, hunted by something unseen. The city felt different now, a looming presence pressing in on her, the once familiar streets now menacing and alien. One evening, she bumped into Mr. Davis, the building superintendent, his face etched with worry.
Haven't seen him since this morning. He was playing near the storm drain.
He confessed, his voice thick with unshed tears. Sarah felt a chill grip her heart. The drain, the gurgling drain. Timmy's disappearance hung over the building like a shroud. The police searched, their faces grim, their words tight-lipped. Days bled into weeks, hope fading with each setting sun. Sarah, haunted by the drain's gurgling whispers, couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister had taken the boy. She found herself drawn back to the bathroom, staring into the abyss of the drain. It seemed to beckon her, promising answers, whispering secrets. One night, she broke down. Tears streamed down her face as she poured out her fears, her voice echoing in the small space.
What if it's my fault? What if I could have done something?
She sobbed, the weight of guilt crushing her. As if in answer, a soft whimper rose from the drain. A child's whimper. Terror, sharp and cold, pierced through her. It was a sound that shattered her denial, that confirmed her darkest fears. Timmy was down there, and something else was with him. The stench hit her first, a putrid cocktail of mildew, sewage, and something else, something sickly sweet that made her stomach churn. It was a smell that seemed to cling to her skin, her clothes, her very soul.
Armed with nothing but a flashlight and a growing sense of dread, I descended into the belly of the city, the storm drain yawning before me like the maw of some monstrous beast. The darkness seemed to swallow the light, and every step echoed with a hollow, foreboding sound.
The air grew heavy, thick with moisture, and the echo of dripping water. It was as if the very atmosphere was conspiring to weigh her down, to make each breath a laborious task. Her flashlight beam danced across the slick, moss-covered walls, revealing nothing but darkness beyond its weak glow. The light flickered, casting eerie shadows that seemed to move and shift on their own. The drain echoed with unfamiliar sounds, the skittering of rats, the gurgling of unseen water, and beneath it all, that faint, heartbreaking whimper. It was a sound that tugged at her heartstrings, urging her to move faster.
Fear, raw and primal, coiled in my gut, but the thought of Timmy trapped alone fueled me forward. I couldn't let my fear paralyze me. I had to find him, to save him. Each step was an act of defiance, a testament to my fading hope. The further I went, the more the fear gnawed at me, but I couldn't turn back now.
The darkness pressed in, suffocating, but she pushed on, deeper into the labyrinthine heart of the city's underbelly. Every corner turned, revealed more of the same oppressive blackness, but she couldn't afford to stop. Down here, in the city's bowels, logic dissolved. The familiar rules of the world above seemed distant and irrelevant. Down here, there were only whispers and shadows, and the chilling certainty that something wicked this way lurked. The sense of being watched, of unseen eyes following her every move, was almost unbearable. But she had to keep going for Timmy's sake. The tunnels stretched on, a damp, claustrophobic maze. Each turn seemed to lead to another identical passage, making it impossible to tell if she was making any progress or just wandering in circles. The air grew thick with the stench of decay, a putrid mix of rot and mold that clung to her nostrils and made her gag. And the only sound was the drip, drip, drip of water, echoing through the tunnels like a relentless metronome. And the pounding of Sarah's own heart, a frantic rhythm that seemed to grow louder with each step she took. The darkness felt alive, pressing in, whispering her name. It was as if the shadows themselves were reaching out, trying to pull her into their cold embrace.
Timmy? Timmy, where are you? Her voice echoed back to her, distorted and hollow, as if the tunnels were mocking her desperation.
Her voice was hoarse, swallowed by the oppressive silence. It felt like the very air was conspiring to keep her from finding him. Fear gnawed at her, but a strange sense of unreality began to settle in. It was as if she had stepped into a nightmare, one that she couldn't wake up from.
Was I dreaming? This couldn't be real? She pinched herself, hoping the pain would jolt her awake, but the darkness remained. Cities didn't have monsters lurking beneath them. This was the stuff of horror stories, not real life.
Then she saw it, a glimmer of hope in the suffocating darkness. A small red shoe, lying discarded in the grime. Timmy's shoe. It was unmistakable, the same one he had been wearing that morning. Panic welled up, choking her. She could barely breathe, her mind racing with terrible possibilities.
This was no dream. The cold, hard reality of the situation hit her like a punch to the gut. This was real, and something terrible had happened here. The signs of struggle were evident, and she knew she had to act fast. I have to find him. I have to. She steeled herself, pushing past the fear that threatened to paralyze her.
A low guttural growl echoed from the darkness ahead, sending a tremor through her very being. It was a sound that spoke of ancient, primal hunger. It was not the sound of a stray animal. This was something else. Something ancient. Something hungry. She knew she was not alone in the labyrinth, and whatever was with her was closing in. Her flashlight flickered, plunging her deeper into darkness. Panic clawed at her throat, her breath catching in ragged gasps. The growl came again, closer this time, reverberating off the damp walls, each syllable laced with a chilling hunger. She could feel the vibrations of the growl in her bones, a primal fear awakening within her. The air was thick with moisture, every breath a struggle, every heartbeat a thunderous drum in her ears.
Come on, please work, please.
She fumbled for her flashlight, her fingers trembling uncontrollably. The beam sputtered back to life, casting erratic shadows on the walls. The light revealed a scene that sent a scream dying in her throat. Two eyes, glowing with an unnatural light, stared back at her from the darkness. They were not human eyes. They were too large, too primal, filled with a cold, calculating intelligence that chilled her to the bone. The eyes seemed to pierce through her, seeing into her very soul, and she felt an overwhelming sense of dread.
A low growl rumbled from the creature, its stench filling the air, a suffocating mix of rot and decay. The smell was overpowering, making her gag, her eyes watering from the intensity. It was as if death itself had taken residence in the sewer, and she was its next victim.
It shifted, and for a fleeting moment, the flashlight beam illuminated its form. A grotesque parody of a human, its skin slick and pallid, its limbs elongated and twisted. ending in claws that scraped against the concrete. Terror, pure and consuming, rooted her to the spot. She could see the sinews and muscles moving under its translucent skin, every movement a reminder of its inhuman nature. The creature's breath was a raspy hiss, each exhale a reminder of the life it had taken, the lives it would take.
This was no nightmare. This was real. This was the thing that haunted the drains, the thing that had taken Timmy. She had heard the stories, the whispers in the town, but she had never believed them. Now, faced with the horrifying reality, she wished she had. She wished she had never come down here, never tried to find out the truth. But it was too late. The truth was staring back at her, and there was no escape.